Good morning, everyone. Today I will talk about what is sales process in little bit detail, wherein we will talk about exactly this, what are the different stages and what does it mean for, what is this pre-approach, and this what is the formula of this name in lead generation, what is a qualified lead, what is a unqualified lead, or can also be termed as a prospect or suspect. We'll also discuss what is pre-approach and what is approach, what are the different types of these objections and how these objections can be handled. To begin with, we all would be agree that we all live our life by selling something, because in our life either we are into this relations of this professional relations or to the personal relations or to the society or to the community. We always sell ourselves in terms of that either we are trying to enhance our this image, or we are trying to have this improvising on our image among this peers or this colleagues or in front of a particular community or the society. So every time we are selling. So selling, it's an integral part of our life. And selling, which is not an art or innate talent, but basically it's a discipline that almost anyone can learn. So talking about this sales process, first and foremost thing, which is very important, that we need to understand that what is the objective of a sales call. If you talk about objective of the sales call, there could be only two objectives. First is either to retain the customer or to gain the new customer. So either you need to protect your market or to develop your market for basically the sales revenue or this overall revenues. Coming to this sales process, different steps into that. So to begin with, it's from this prospecting to this pre-approach, approaching the prospect, and approaching the prospect with the detailed demonstrations as well as the presentation of the products or the services or any offer which we are offering to that prospect. Then there will be certain questions which will be raised by that particular prospect because he is showing interest into that. So these can be termed as, these are the objections from the prospect side, and these objections need to be handled. And once these objections are being handled, every objection which is handled properly gives an opportunity to close the door, close the call. Close the call means this: you are getting a confirmation that yes, that particular prospect is having interest in your product and can buy a product in future or at that particular point of time. And if it is not possible, then you need to further take the follow-ups and you need to continue with this next call going to this prospect. And this entire cycle will further be approached, and you need to go for this prospecting, then pre-approach, approach, again presentation, demonstration, objection handling, customer confirmation of this closing call, and if it is not possible, then again taking the follow-ups. And it will keep on continuing until unless you could be able to convert that prospect as a customer. So this is basically the sales process or selling process. Coming to this prospecting. Prospecting is basically, we'll start with this, what is lead? Lead, as I said in my previous video, that lead is basically a confirmation. Lead is basically this contact number, or it's an email ID of a particular individual, or it could be a particular firm, and that lead need to be qualified, and how that lead can be measured as a qualified lead, there is a litmus test for it, and that litmus test is name. Name means, and for this need to buy, you need to establish that that particular individual or that particular firm is interested to buy that product. Second is to whom you are contacting into that particular firm or that particular individual. That individual is having this authority to buy. It means that this he is having this a final call in buying decisions. He needs to have this money to buy. If he is not having money, he is having authority, he is having that cannot be a qualified lead. And ultimately, he need to be this eligible to buy that particular product. So it means that an individual or a firm representative who is having this need, who is having this authority to buy, who is having money to buy and eligibility to buy can be termed as that this is a qualified lead, and there are prospects, that prospects can be converted as a customer. Now, what are the different lead searching methods from where you can get a lead? Lead can be random. It can be collected from this door to door, or it can be this obtained from this territory blitz, or doing the cold calls, or through advertising, or from this websites, or from this emails, or from other digital medias, or it can be selective also. Selective like this from your networks or the networks which you have developed, you can getting certain kind of this leads, or you are getting a lead from the surveys, you are getting a lead from this trade shows, telemarketing, or the contest as well as from the free gifts. So these are the certain methods, random as well as the selective methods by which this leads can be generated. Now this pre-approach. Pre-approach is basically the homework which an individual salesperson has to complete before going for a particular call. So that is prepare the prospect for this initial sales call, sell the sales call appointment to the prospect through pre-notification. This pre-notification can be by asking this permission from him on this telephone, or by sending a message, or WhatsApp, sending this WhatsApp message that I am having this such and such beautiful, or this very beautiful offering for you, and what would be the convenient time that I can visit you. So these are this all this appointment prospects through this pre-notification, and gathering and analyzing the information about the prospects. Meanwhile, this what are their interest areas, what are the other interest areas wherein you can influence that particular prospects. Then you need to identify these problems, as well as you need to also do this need assessments. And along with that, during this pre-approach, you need to also work upon this, what is the feature, advantage, benefit analysis of your offering. Because features is the language which is understood by the salesperson, whereas this the language understood by a customer is the language of the benefits as well as the advantages. So every time for each and every offering, you need to work upon that, translating each and every feature in terms of this benefits to the end customer. If you are able to do that, so every time it will help you to pitch your product accordingly, that and definitely will have this impact on this, how that product, how your product can have a better suitability for that particular prospect. Then demonstration is a very important aspect, because if you are selling something intangible, or you are explaining any intangible character of your product or characteristics of your product, definitely demonstration that helps you to establish the fact that what you are saying definitely it's correct. Like many of this pharmaceutical sales executive, I have seen that if they are claiming that my this particular tablet which disperses into the water within 7 seconds, so what they do basically, they take water in a glass, and in front of this physician or that consultant, they pour that particular tablet and just simply give the demonstration that really it disperses within 7 seconds in front of that physician. Or I have also noticed that many of time that they also claim that, say this it's a pineapple flavor, and for this pediatric patients that is a very good product, because usually this kids, those who are very much fussy about the taste and color. So for this demonstration, they usually offer this physician to have this taste of that particular medicine, so that he will be easily convinced. So that is this demonstration, which is very important. And there are this lot of this other examples from the glass industry, from the cement industry, where in this demonstration that helps individuals to pitch that particular product accordingly. Then you need to plan and rehearse your approach. If you have done it properly, definitely for each and every call, this chances of this conversion will be on higher side. So coming to this FAB, feature advantage benefit analysis, basically the question which comes in the prospect's mind is, why should I buy your offerings? So why should I buy a offering? Basically he is interested into this, what benefits he is going to see. So if benefit is like, I am going to buy a particular this bicycle. So bicycle, how your bicycle is entirely different from this other bicycles. So obvious, it is visible from this particular picture that how that particular bicycle is superior to this as compared to the other bicycles. That it is a foldable. It is a foldable, you can easily carry it. Or if I am going to buy this trolley, so how that trolley is different from this rest of this competitor brands. Yes, this trolley, this trolley come, this another feature that you have a chair. So many of the time into this bus stations or railway stations or even in airport where you do not have this space to sit, then definitely you can have this particular chair along with that trolley. So that is this added advantage with your product, and that need to be highlighted, translated and demonstrated. And definitely it is going to help you out in pitching your product. Now what are the strategies for this approaching a prospect? Approaching a prospect for this either you go for this mutual acquaintances or the references, or by giving this self-introduction, or offering them free groups or the samples, or offering them this customer benefits, or telling them about this generating a curiosity about your product, compliment or praise, or through surveys, questions, product or ingredients, or the demonstration. So these are the different strategies by which you can approach this prospect. Now the selling process, talking about in detail further, that sales presentation as well as the demonstration, that is this important aspect of this selling process. So there are different approaches by which you basically have a discussion with your prospect. So there is a stimulus response selling approach, there is a formula selling approach, there is a need satisfaction selling approach, consultative selling approach as well as the team selling approach. These approaches vary from this situation to situation. Like this for a stimulus response selling. The stimulus response selling approach, that is very much applicable when you are calling taking a call on this telephone. So most of this telesales executive, they usually use this stimulus response selling approach, because one stimulus you are leaving and you are simply observing and reading the behavior of that particular prospect, and accordingly you are giving the stimulus, and again you are reading the response, and you keep on continuing giving the stimulus, reading the response until and unless he becomes this affirmative, this my frame of mind for this buying your products. But that needs a lot of this practice, and without this practice it may not be possible for you to basically practice that particular thing. Then formula selling approach, formula selling, this IDA, attention, interest, desire as well as this action, that is a very simple, I will discuss in detail. Need satisfaction, you need to first identify the need, and you need to satisfy the individual's need by that particular product or offering you are having. Consultative selling approach, you need to have this product which is having this certain kind of this technical aspects, and that technical aspects you need to cover by this giving this consultancy of your product, or it is more of this approach is applicable in terms of this when you are selling this financial products. And for this B2B markets, team selling approach is more important, because these products are very complex, and for this attending that complexity, one individual may not be having that much of the knowledge. So definitely you need to look at this, a team of this people from this different functional areas, those who can help to pitch that particular product. So with this note, I am going to cover this selling process. The rest of this part will be objection, different types of the objection and objection handling. You will be looking at into my second video. Thank you very much.